Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we're here today to discuss A War to End All. It's the third book in the Manifest Illusion series, and it is out now as you're listening to this, so go out and buy it. It is available on Amazon.
Exciting.
Very much. Yeah, I'm waiting for my paperback version to get here. I really like having the pages tabbed. It's driving me nuts. But anyway.
Mine's in the mailbox.
Oh, is it?
I didn't have time to go get it just before we started.
Nice. And also wanted to say thanks to Michael R. Fletcher and Clayton Snyder for letting us read it early, and also to Michael R. Fletcher for the introduction music and outro music. So thanks again. So, Dan, kick us off, please, sir, with an introduction.
I'm Dan. I read books, and sometimes I comment them on a channel such as this, I guess. Only recently, though. That's it.
All right. And Varsha?
Hi, my name is Varsha. I run a YouTube channel called Reading by the Rainy Mountain, where I like to talk about my favorite books.
Nice.
And eventually I'll make a video about this series, but it's not there yet.
Nice. Yeah, so we're halfway through, and I'm a little bit surprised that, because we've had a lot of build-up, and I'm a little bit surprised things haven't hit the fan yet, but I'm assuming the last third or so will be just, like, insane. So.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I think this book was very different from the other two in that we don't really know what we're building up towards. In the first one, maybe Morgan's ascension would have been it. The second one, there was ominous mention of the farmhouse, where, we didn't know what was going to happen, but something was going to happen. But in this one, at least, I don't know if anything was revealed in the two chapters that I'm reading for today, but at least as far as I got, it didn't feel like we knew yet where we are building up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If you asked me at the beginning, it felt like, we're leading up to some sort of confrontation with the Elder Gods. That's what I was gonna guess. But it doesn't seem like it. Right?
It seems like, if there is a confrontation, it doesn't feel like it's going to be because they sought it out, because we met one Elder God who from the Obsidian structure, who came to life and is actually the one picking a fight, and then there's this random dude dressed in yellow who also, I don't know, I'd guess that he was maybe an Elder God who's also trying to jump into the fray. So we're just at the end of the last book, it felt like they were going to go seek the Elder Gods out, but it seems like the reverse is happening. But then also another Elder Goddess was mentioned who created the world and wants it to be destroyed. And I guess, I did wonder if Morgan is the result of that desire, but it seems like not, based on something else said in that chapter.
Do we know that the Obsidian statue is an Elder God? Maybe I missed that part.
So the epigraph just before that chapter started said something about a trickster who used to steal, who used to try to defeat. And then when we got the Obsidian's POV, he referred to himself as the trickster, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't catch that. Interesting. Actually, do we want to... I did want to discuss the chapter with the King in Yellow, right? I don't know what your thoughts were about it. I just found it very confusing. Not because, it was meant to be confusing because of, the description, what happened, and his sort of trip, which is like, did he imagine it? What was going on? Was he in a different dimension or something? Right? But it just, to me, it felt a bit like it was taken from a different book, sort of. Like, the bit of the writing style, the context, and, how it... I don't know, it felt like it was from a different book, like a playwright with this sort of... Again, it's an Eldritch God, because it's the same, like, the King in Yellow is the same as... it's in the current pantheon of, Eldritch God, like Fulu and all those other ones, even though they're not technically from the same author, but... We're all in the same, in our mentality, we're on the same pantheon, right? And it is a reference to something from our current reality, right? Which is the only reference as far as I've seen up to now, right?
Wait, it's a reference to our reality?
Well, because it's from a book from the 1800s, The King in Yellow, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't remember who's the guy that wrote it? The other guy, the other famous guy from...
I was getting some Lovecraftian vibes from it.
Yeah, but not Lovecraft. The guy that came before Lovecraft, right? From which he was also inspired and stuff like that. I don't remember his name. But yeah, he wrote a series of novellas, which I've actually wanted to read because I think totally pretty interesting. But anyways,
Robert W. Chambers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chambers. And there's a reference through, I think it's a book from 1870 or something like that. It's pretty old. But anyways, there's a reference in different parts of the story to a play called, I think, The King in Yellow, I think it's called. And it's supposed to that anyone that hears it or sees it goes crazy and insane because it's, it's one of those things like, from ancient folklore where you read something and it makes you go crazy, right? And there's like extracts of it through all the different little parts of this book of novellas. And yeah, the King in Yellow is one of the characters, I think, in this play or something, and it's very like eldritch sort of flavor, right? That's why it felt a bit weird, because then I associated sort of with that historical period, because if I think of eldritch things, I associate them mentally with early 1900s, late 1800s, sort of, that environment, I guess. What also came to mind was Stephen King sort of thing, with all the you make a book and then you make a note of something because it's like multiple dimensions, sort of huge interconnected worlds, which some people think it's interesting, some people hate it. Anyways, it felt a bit also like that. Like, oh, is this supposed an eldritch god which transcends literal boundaries and is like in all the different universes together? Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I'm not sure. I was just very confused by it.
Interesting.
Do we lose Varsha? Oh, she is? Okay.
Oh, I'm still here. Can you
you just froze for a second.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. That sounds very interesting, and it is that telling us about this world, what the gods in this world are like, or are the gods from stories? There was a comment somewhere earlier about how mythology is created from the stories people tell each other or something like that earlier in the book, and I thought that was really interesting. But do you think this is sort of a manifestation of that statement?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's like, were you the person that said, like, at the end of the last book or something, about, oh, maybe this is our world, but in the future or something? Maybe?
Yeah, I think you said it, and I thought there was a comment that referenced that somewhat, but I couldn't find it. But, yeah,
I wonder.
That could be. That makes me wonder about the obsidian, whether that's a reference to something from our world, too.
Not as far as I can know, but again, I don't know everything, obviously. But yeah, but I feel like maybe it's just a tongue-in-cheek reference, sort of. Like, that's what it felt to me. But I'm not sure.
I kind of wondered because there's another passage that talks about the one true God. And talks about after watching her creation for thousands of years and seeing it spawn hell after hell, countless after deaths even worse than the other, she has finally admitted that she made a terrible mistake. People need structure. They need a world that doesn't give a shit about what they want. Give them a choice and they'll be fucking miserable every fucking time. So I feel like our world is starting to mix into theirs, or there's starting to be cracks in this world. Like, we're starting to see through, and I wonder if this if all that is happening is in someone's mind.
Could be.
I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but kind of wonder if this is their imagination and just bits and pieces of their imagination, or what they think is just like random stuff starts showing up. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, this does feel very dream-like, this whole world. This is one series where I wouldn't be mad if you were just told it's someone's delusion, but it better not be someone from our world.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be if it was someone related, like, oh, it's like the fancies or the dreams of some very relevant political figure or musician or something.
Yeah.
That would be so...
Steve, I want to ask, what about that passage made it feel like it's leaking into our world?
I forget exactly where it was, but there's little mentions of, like, I think somebody mentions Bedecked and him being sane, and I forget what exactly the passage was, but it was almost like something about it feels like this world is almost like falling apart, like we're starting to see it's starting, like bits and pieces are starting to fall away, and it, the one true God, and we're starting to get a bigger picture of the elder gods, like you mentioned, Dan. Like we're starting to like we've been given too much choice, and this is what happens when we don't have structure. We don't have something to keep us in line, because we need something to keep us in line. And this is either it's like a experiment run amok, like they're pulling the plug on it. Kind of like we're an experiment kind of thing. This world is like a test run of what happens. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
No, that makes sense. That passage had me thinking in 5 different directions, the one you just read, because one, it said that she wants order and that she wants to take away choice, which is exactly what Morgan is doing. So first I thought that maybe Morgan is the outcome, or like he's sure Koenig was what brought him about, but there have been things that the reflections can see and cannot see, and some sort of external influence on reality. So I wondered if this one true God was who was manipulating Morgan to do what he's doing right now. But then the next bit is that she wants to destroy the world and start over. So that includes Morgan. But of course, we're hearing all of this from a horse. That doubt is...
There's always that, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. So...
I kind of wanted... Yeah.
Yeah, that...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was a very interesting passage. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to mention that it kind of feels like Morgan was supposed to be the savior. Like he was supposed to be the thing that set this world straight. And our little ragtag group of misfits totally screwed everything up. And just like this plan was in place for things to be turned around, and it was ruined because they soiled him, and now he's a mess.
But I feel like if that was a plan of some sort of like very powerful entity, that they manipulated things so that it would happen this way, they would be a bit more resistant to a random group of 3 guys stealing him. You know what I mean? Like if it's the forces of causality or something which are creating this figure that it would, maybe if it was someone like super determined to change it, or someone powerful, something or something special happening, but not just 3 guys. Let's just steal Morgan. Why not?
Yeah. It makes sense that Koenig would fall prey to that kind of manipulation or planning, but not the one true God. But, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I guess it depends on how much agency this elder god gave us. Like if they decided to interfere or not, kind of like they kind of put a plan in motion, and kind of like, I hope it works out. Like we'll let them decide, and they still manage to screw it up.
But also, I guess if the elder gods are like the obsidian statue or whatever, it wasn't very powerful. It's just a random statue. It's like,
And its sliver wants Gehin to get in there and destroy it from the inside.
Yeah, so... that's one of the things which I'm like... Maybe that's, one of the things which I'm not sure how to say. It's just where everyone is very flippant about things, sort of. Like the guy was, it's kind of very sort of easy to kill this elder god and things. It's very, it's not very hard. In my mind before I wasn't imagining maybe we would get some sort of, again, eldritch god which are more like elder god, which is more eldritch, or like, I don't know, the Eldrazi or something from Magic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something more incomprehensible, something mad, something, you know what I mean? But maybe they're not. Maybe they're just like random powerful beings that can just be disposed of. But if that's the case, then I don't see how this one elder god would be able to manipulate history or something. I don't know.
The prologues of the first and third book told us that the elder gods, or at least that popular opinion was that the elder gods had gone insane and they retired from the world, right? So perhaps you're not wrong about the insanity, so maybe we need to read their presence differently.
But do you think maybe they became weaker, and that's why it's like they became forgotten and weaker, and that's why now they're reduced to whatever they are?
Perhaps. Yeah, people barely believe that elder gods exist. Like if cults like the Jabbereen are able to say, no, our gods didn't create us, we created the gods, then I suppose they would lose significant amounts of power. But it also seems like there was, I don't remember who said it, but was it Bild? Somebody was confused about why Morgan's power was limited to just the city that he was in. It was one of the others that Koenig had promised ascension to, or someone. I don't remember who it was, but I thought that was interesting because whatever limits Morgan felt, were they his own delusion then?
No. It's very,
So, if that's the case, then the elder gods are as powerful as they think they are, but then they also need to be powerful enough to manipulate reality to that extent. Yeah, it's all very confusing.
I mean, if the elder gods are not, like, we don't know how many there are. If there are, like, millions of them, then maybe they...
One per person. or like Hinduism, you believe in all of them and you pray to the right one according to what you need.
Oh, they're just facets of the one god.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Interesting.
So I wanted to go back to the horse for a minute. Do you guys buy what he said because it came from the horse, or it seems very believable, right? Like it rings true, but also it's a horse telling us all of that. And if it was just any horse, that's great, but it's Dowd who's deluded himself that the horse can talk.
Yeah.
I feel like what the authors would do is say a bunch of random gibberish which is entertaining, and then put inside something which is actually true, and then later on we're like, we said it. That's what I feel they did. So I'm sure there's something very important that he said that's in there, and which is real, but probably not. I feel like most of it is not, but I feel like there's some things which are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if there's like a horse god or whatever, like, or if the horses can only count to 5, or I don't remember what it was.
Oh, 4.
4, yeah.
But he knew times 22.
Yeah. 20 times bigger than 4, yeah. Or that horses are smarter than humans, or they're all sane or something. Yeah, I don't know.
They know the numbers, they just can't count to them apparently.
Yeah. I mean, there are cultures in which, like, numbers go like 1 to 6, and then after it's just many. But,
Many. Yeah, I thought they have a not hexadecimal. What would you say for 6? Like
6
binary hexadecimal. What would 6 be?
I think it's I don't know. I know there's the 12 one, right?
Yeah. What is that? Dodecahedral.
I don't remember, but yeah. It's the one that, what was it? Was it the Sumerians or Babylonians used, right? Something like that. Well, I guess we still use it, but yeah, those guys used it before. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, I feel like it feels to me like maybe the one one god sort of thing, there must be something true in that part, I feel.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but we won't know until later. We haven't seen any of her agents, right? Do you think the other two, well, one we know is an elder god and he just serves himself apparently, and the other one seems like an elder god. Do you think he's working with the one true god? The one true god was female, so this person isn't her, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the one true god is gonna have much of it. It's gonna do much. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Maybe at the end of the book ends with like, oh, the one true god says, oh, fuck this, it doesn't work, and just kills everything.
Yeah. It sounded like she needed help to do that, though. Isn't that...
Did it?
Well, okay, according to the horse, he was asking Doubt to go somewhere and told him, go somewhere and do something. And he made a case for how, the destruction that he will cause will serve Morgan's purpose. So it sounds like she needs agents to do her dirty work.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe one of our main characters is gonna end the world, and she's gonna tell him how, or her how.
Yeah.
So I guess, does that mean that the one...
Get in.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe. She does want to do it, right?
Yeah. She's like, that's the only way the world will become pure.
Yeah.
You were saying, Steve?
Oh no, I was gonna say, so if one of our characters does kill everything, then do they start over again, or what would be the...
Yeah, I think she wants to start a new experiment. The one true god, apparently.
Maybe she's gonna be like, oh, if you kill this world, I'm gonna bring you to the new one that I'm making.
The horses will be supreme there.
Maybe.
That's what we need, more talking horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of that, Steve? Yeah, that's not the kind of humor you like, right?
No, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I do like the just kind of off the wall crazy stuff. It works in this book, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like horses wouldn't be able to build a civilization boat just because they can't hold anything in their hands. They don't have hands.
They got teeth.
I don't think. I once read a book, like a sci-fi story or something about. It was like a horse civilization or something, but I think the main crux was like they find, what was it, unicorn, something like that. I don't remember. They find like early humans, and then they're like, oh wow, these guys can do all these things that we cannot do because they have hands. And I think they enslave them at first, but then it's the humans, like, they learn things from it, because their whole civilization was based on like philosophy, not crafting, because they couldn't craft anything, so it was all like mental and emotional and stuff like that. But then they got sort of, and then there was the other half of humans that could actually do things, but were much less advanced mentally and emotionally. So I don't know. I feel like there's several limitations to horse-based society.
Did you read? Have you read his Dark Materials? Either of you?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay. There is an alien civilization in that that travels interestingly. I think they don't have opposable thumbs. I think, but I could be wrong.
Well, if you have tentacles or something similar, then you can still do
Yeah,
things.
you need something to grab with. You're right. Yeah. Octopuses then.
Yeah. I feel like unless you have some way of modifying, like interact with your environment via psychic power or something. If it's right, how would you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think that's gonna happen here, but yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like we're adding more to the story. If it felt like by this point we'd be winding down. So I'm wondering, it sounds like we're building to have a really big showdown or something wild.
Yeah. And I'd be very curious to see where this goes, because we're not usually, most stories bring people together in a giant convergence. This one's dispersing people all over the place. Maybe, the earth is round, so they'll meet at the same place.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them are gonna get killed off.
Maybe.
But if we think about the other books, they were both also like at the midpoint. It wasn't even starting to get towards the end. It was like just opening up, and we're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like there's no indication to what's gonna happen. So it's probably the same for this one, I feel.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it does, maybe it's like, I'm still not sure what the overall, what's the overall story of the whole 3 books, right? We're still unsure.
Yeah. It has to be the unmaking of the world. What else would it be?
I don't know. That's all speculation. It could be literally anything. It could be not even close related to any of that.
Yeah, they all lived happily ever after. Stellan and Victig. Oh, we gotta talk about Stellan and Maya's body.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
That's kind of why I start to think that there's some kind of something else, something bigger happening behind the scenes, because we're getting these weird experiences, and she's living her sister's body. And
do you think that's current time, or do you think that's in the past?
Yeah, I was confused about that. Is she a Stellan aged Maya? But then the father's talking to Maya as if she's a little girl. Stellan wasn't that young, was she? She seemed pretty grown up.
Yeah, and she was younger than Maya, right? I think. I thought she was younger, or not, or is she older?
Oh, was she the older sister?
I thought she was the younger sister, but I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong.
Yeah, if she's the younger sister, that's even stranger how the father talks to Maya.
Was there any mention about, like, Stellan thinking, oh, he looks older or younger or something? I don't remember. Like the father.
No. I think she has a jolt of recognition, but I don't recall. And when she looks at herself in the mirror, I seem to recall she thought she recognized the reflection as Maya, but a lot older than when she last saw her.
Yeah.
But
I guess it must be present, because then Stellan, if it was a past, then Stellan would be there too. Her, like, Stellan's body or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I thought for a second, that what was happening was that Stellan was actually Maya, had been Maya all this time, and it was just like different aspects of her personality.
Oh, okay.
And then her running away, I thought her running away was like, her running away, then she's going to meet Bedecked and whatever, and she's going to... That's what I thought was that, but I don't think so anymore.
No. There was one moment where I had that thought too. Not well before she ran away. I think when she had that internal POV.
Yeah.
I thought it was Stellan. I think when she was looking at the gold and feeling like she needs to steal it, but she couldn't really explain it, and she hated that thought of herself. That was when I thought that, she's maybe some sort of doppel or some other duplicate of Stellan. But then there was something else said afterwards which convinced me otherwise.
I don't know. I just thought because I was like, because Stalin hates herself, and then she was like, oh, she hates Maya too. So I thought that just it was some sort of representation of her, hating what she became or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But again, I don't think so anymore. But it could still be technically. But the other thing it could be that she it must be something to do with like past. There must be some sort of twist. Like, did she kill Maya? Did Maya steal something from her? There must be something there, right?
Yeah. Apparently, the father kicked her out when she stole something from the mother. And given how much Stalin hates herself, I wonder if she killed the mother accidentally or otherwise.
Maybe. But yeah, that's what made me think after when she ran away, right? Because she did all the stealing when she ran away. I was like, this can't be the past because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right?
And she thinks to herself about how she'll find Victig and maybe he'll like her now because she looks like Maya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know what she did. And she thinks of it, I thought that was really, well, a moment of depth, if you will, when she thinks to herself that had she become so kleptic that she's now stealing other people's lives, which she was in a way when she was killing, but this is different and somehow worse. So.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Maybe you're right about the mother. Maybe the scarf was her mother's scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It was. I think it was either something her mother gave her or it was her mother's.
Do we know that? Do we know that?
I thought we did.
Okay, maybe I forgot.
Because there was mention of the first ever scarf that she has. I think when Bedekt brings it back to her in the after death. If I remember correctly, she had a thought about how it tied to her mother, but I don't think we know the details.
You're probably right. I just hope it's something clever, with what happened and unexpected. It's not just like, oh, I stole something and my mother discovered it and I killed her or something, and then I regret. I hope there's a bit more.
Hopefully. Yeah, because all that build up for it's fine. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how that goes, yeah.
Else.
Which ticket?
What else was there?
Oh my god, I loved this chapter. That was fabulous. That was comedy. It was Victig driven up to 150.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
He's pretty funny. Which is like, I like his, like, most of his jokes and the humor in those ones lands for me. Why sometimes the other ones doesn't, but his is very.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But wait, one thing. What happened with the mirrorist? I'm still confused. What happened with that? Did he leave her? Where? Why?
He did leave her.
How?
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And how?
She went to sleep and he just left her there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was like, did I miss something? That's what I thought when this happens. Like, did I miss some part explaining why?
I think he realized that she's dead weight. He thought that she's going to help him out as a mirrorist, and I think he thought she had some other abilities which she didn't. And then when she said, no, it's my sister that was the mirrorist, he's like, yeah, cool, bye.
Oh, but I mean, the new guy, the new kid is also dead weight. Like, he doesn't need him.
I think he likes having a protege or an apprentice.
I guess.
Yes.
But also he got lonely and he couldn't sleep because there was no one to keep watch for the Albtron. So, he changed his mind. But he didn't regret leaving her behind, though. I would have thought he would.
Yeah.
Just for the selfish reasons, but yeah, because...
Yeah, I feel like it should have just, like, it seems a bit weird that, we're like, oh, the last book ended with them leaving together, and then now it's like, oh, I'm going.
Bye. Yeah. Didn't even say bye, he just left.
Bye. Yeah, he just left. Very. I was
Yeah,
a bit confused. I was a bit confused.
They didn't even travel together. I think he just left her behind at the farmhouse.
Oh, was it that quick? I thought it was like a couple of days after, but.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
It was a day or so after, but I think they had just finished resting or something in the farmhouse.
Oh,
and then
okay.
it was- Yeah.
Wait, so were they there when Morgan went to a farmhouse?
No, I don't think so.
So was that after they left? Like a couple of days? I don't think so. It felt like it was the same day.
Yeah, I thought so too. It felt like maybe not. How far away was he from the farmhouse?
It wasn't very long if it was the same day. It wasn't very long.
But I thought it was some sort of teleportation or whatever, you know.
Oh, I thought he went there, like he marched there or something.
I don't know, but I think it was coinciding with other events that. Because it must have been together because there was this whole thing that nobody could see past the farmhouse, right?
Hmm.
So they must have known, because then when that happens, then suddenly you can, right? So it must have been roughly the same time period, like the same day or whatever. I feel like it must be.
Was it Morgan or Nacht who went to the farmhouse?
Both
Yeah,
went.
then they both ended up there. Morgan, and then I think
Oh,
Noct
okay.
came after, right? That's when he got Stellan. He brought Stellan
Yeah.
back.
So he brought Stellan back. We haven't seen her actually back. So it's her invasion of Maya, how he brought her back.
I think she did spend time with. No, she's dead. Never mind. No, they both came back, right? I forget her name. Her partner.
Lieben Dick.
Yeah. I thought they spent a little bit of time together, and she tried.
I thought that was in the after that.
Was it after that?
Was that part in what we read this week?
I think it was.
Where they
in-
separated?
I think it was in the previous week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we discuss that? Did we mention it? I don't remember.
Thought we did. I don't remember.
Okay, maybe.
I don't seem to. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
remember.
so, because I remember thinking it was very abrupt.
Mm.
You know, sort of like what was it? It was something to do with like, oh, so you're not gonna come with me, something like that. And then she didn't answer, and then she left.
Well, I thought I thought she had talked about having the wooden or the statues. Didn't they talk about? She still had them.
Yeah, and then the swordswoman, Liebendig, is that her name?
Yeah.
She saw that she didn't have them because
Yeah.
someone had stolen them from her body,
that's right.
which, Nacht had.
Oh yeah.
So that was in the after death,
Yeah.
I think, that conversation.
But why did Stellan leave her?
Was it because she saw did Liebendig? No, I don't remember. I'm coming up with several explanations. I'm like, I don't remember reading that. I don't remember reading
I
it.
remember reading it and thinking sort of like, oh, Stellan was like, I don't want to say pouting, or she was something along that line. Some minor disagreement, like you have between couples or whatever. And then she just took it seriously for some reason and just left without discussing things, which is like, maybe just ask her, oh, are you serious? What do you think? Like, normal.
Yeah,
But I guess we're no well-adjusted people, so.
True.
No.
Yeah.
I think Stellan suggested to her that she leave, and she said, yeah, maybe we should. And Stellan's like, yeah, cool, bye.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't
You're right.
talk about it. But I
Yeah.
don't remember what the trigger was, why she suggested that she
Yeah.
leave.
No, you're right. It was exactly that. But I just thought when she said that it was like, it felt to me like the way Liebe said it was like sort of half serious, not completely serious.
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
say these things.
Yeah. But Stellan's like, oh, you how dare you, or like, I don't know, she's so insecure that she's
Maybe,
been
yeah.
waiting for Liebendig to give her even the slightest hint that she's not interested in her anymore. And I think it was more of even if she knew that she wasn't being fully serious, she's like, I'll leave before she does become serious.
But Victor said so many worse things to her before.
But he never actually expressed affection. She's afraid of losing what she has. Yeah, I completely understand Stella's like, I don't know.
So what you mean is like, oh, I'm gonna lose it myself. I'm not gonna make someone else,
Yeah.
have someone else do it for me, because that will leave me vulnerable or something. I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I relate so hard with her. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Stellan, tell me how you feel.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me like. She's leaving before the other person has the chance to leave her.
So wait, another thing. So how did... Okay, so I remember that. I remember the chapter with Stellan in Maya's body. How do we get there?
That we don't know. I think at the end of the reading that we had for last week, the last chapter was Stellan in Maya's body. I don't think we talked about it. And then that continued this week in the Stellan POV.
Yeah.
Except last week, wait, did we? Oh, we got the whole thing from Stellan's POV. This time we got a bit of Maya POV and Stellan POV. But I think that was the first time we saw her not in the after death.
Okay.
So I was wondering if that's how Nacht brought her back.
Yeah. So we saw her leave Dig or whatever, and then the next thing we saw her waking up in Maya's
I think so.
body.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. I don't remember if anything happened in between. I don't think it did.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, it's not even like she's sleeping in the after death and dreaming all of this. Was she? The first chapter that we got, did she wake up from sleep?
I feel
when
like
she inhibited Maya?
I think so. I thought that was what happened. She thought it was a dream because I assumed that people have to sleep in the after death too.
Yeah.
And then she thought that was a dream. The first time she inhabited Maya's body. And then she woke up in the after death. Something like that. Or something like that.
And now she's basically in Maya full time.
I guess. Yeah. I wonder if maybe they're like twins or something. And that's how there's some sort of magical link. You know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Maybe they're twins, and in this world your perception modifies reality. So because Stellan was uglier inside, she became uglier outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they started to say, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, the perception of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it with Gehian, right?
Yeah.
She apparently looks a lot bigger than she should, based on her daily caloric intake.
Wow.
There was the lady at the end of Perfection's chapter, was it? When he killed all the wolf therianthropes. And then he saw... Yeah, when we came across that person, I thought maybe we're meeting Zukunft again, but that wasn't her.
I thought that was like some sort of god of the forest. Or something like that.
Yeah, with antlers and stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, Perfection concludes that she's a goddess, but was she?
Yeah.
Or was she just another therianthrope?
I feel like she was one of the minor gods because we've had them mentioned before, right? It's like, every little forest has its own like god or something local, like fraction of this powerful, something like that. I think we had like an epigraph earlier talking about it.
I see. So she could be a god.
But again, it seems like the distinction between god and delusionist in this world is very. It's a spectrum. It doesn't feel like it's a actual difference in quality. You know.
I thought at the end of the first book, that Morgan had ascended, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was something in, I forget if it was in this book or the previous book, where we were talking about how Morgan would ascend again or something like that. Not ascend again, that he would finally ascend or something to that effect. So I was confused about that. I thought he ascended at the end of the first book, or did he just become very powerful? I mean, he did things like come out of the after death and
Yeah, I guess so. But what is it? If he did ascend, what did the ascension mean?
Yeah.
Right? Because the stuff he's doing now, he could do before too, right? I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody believes in him if all of his powers are from the belief that people have in him. He had that before. All they had to do was declare him a god and he'd be the god.
Was it just to level up, maybe? Sort of, you know? Like, the belief that you have to die to level up to become a god, but you're sort of like the same thing, just a bit more powerful?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Konig's going into the same thing again, where he's like, someone will kill Morgan and I'll kill them, and they'll serve me in the afterdeath and I'll be the god. So it's the same cycle. I was like, I thought we've been through that. Morgan's already ascended.
But I feel like now he's like, I think now he wants just to ascend himself or something like that, right?
Yeah. He wants to ascend himself, and he thinks that. Does he think he needs to die for ascension?
I don't know, but why wouldn't he do it earlier then? Why did he think before he needed someone else, and now he thinks, oh, I can ascend on my own now?
Did he? I think earlier he didn't want to be the god for some reason. I don't know his motivations. I got the impression that he enjoyed being the man behind the curtain. But
because the god is maybe like the god would actually be like the slave to the religion, right? He wouldn't be the guy in charge. He would be the workhorse or something.
Yeah. But on that subject, I don't know what his motivation for that would be. You know, what does he achieve by being, or in general, if there is someone who likes being the person behind the curtain and not the one at the forefront, what would their motivation be? Like,
I guess
introversion, but I don't think that's Konig's motive.
Maybe he just doesn't want to die or something. He wants to not go crazy, to have enough power to control his decay or something like that, you know?
Oh yeah, that was it. He wanted to I think he wanted the god in his, I don't remember how he would have achieved it, but it was so that he wouldn't hit the pinnacle with his delusions. Yeah, because things started getting more urgent when he started having the mirrorist delusion.
Yeah, now he's got
a few
retardist tendencies.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
I don't know, it's his third delusion, I guess.
The others, yeah.
I guess, now that he's gotten rid of all the mirrors and the doppels, does he not have those delusions anymore?
I guess so, yeah. Or, yeah.
Because they're not there anymore.
No, they're not around anymore. So if you kill a delusion and it dies, I guess it doesn't respawn.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But if a delusion kills you, does it become the original? Yeah, we talked about that. It's unclear, right?
Yeah.
I guess it boils down to what they believe. Oh, also, all of Morgan's doppels, they all have Gefargeist powers. But did Konig's doppels have his powers? I thought they didn't.
I don't think we know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. His reflection didn't have Gefargeist powers, but we don't know about the doppels.
I'm just wondering, because we didn't see it, The only time where maybe we could have seen it, because they didn't interact with anyone else but Koenig, right? The only time where they might have was when one of his doppels pretended to be him to get the big guys to kill the actual Koenigers, right? But I think that's the only time. But I don't remember if he actually used Geffergeist's power to do that or not.
Yeah.
So
I
not sure.
don't remember. Yeah, we haven't seen it. Doesn't mean it's not there, I suppose. Only his reflection. But then Nacht also has all kinds of powers. Or does he? He can't go back into his mirror, by the way. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. He seems pretty powerful.
Yeah. And we haven't... did we see him again in the 2 chapters that I missed? No, right? I don't think we saw him in this whole section this week.
No. I think what I remember in the last part, he was having some sort of second thoughts about, like, is this actually gonna work or something, or is this actually what I want? Which seems like a lot of what happens when a lot of people have schemes, and then when they're finally happening, they're like, is this actually what I wanted?
Yeah.
Little late for that, buddy.
Yeah, it seems they all somewhat regret doing what they're doing when it actually happens.
So, I wanted to talk about one more thing. Maybe more things, but one thing now. We talked earlier about the one true God, and maybe she's using Morgan to do the cleansing that she wants. And we talked about how it's probably not because these 3 stole Morgan. Would he have, become such a terrible god, like someone who enslaves his people to get what he wants? Would he have abused his power so much? If he had just been the quiet little boy who ascended, if he had done that, he probably would listen to Koenig, right? And maybe, I don't know if Koenig would have gotten that bad, but would Morgan have become like that if he hadn't been kidnapped?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And he even knew to do that because he met the slaver, right?
Yeah, the slaver and Bedekt and Wichtig and Stellan. They what is it? They he was contaminated. He was soiled by them. He was.
Yeah, I feel like Koenig would have had a lot more influence on him and would moderate it a bit.
And Koenig isn't such a bad leader, I suppose. He wants to be worshipped and loved, but other than that, it doesn't seem like. But I'm trying to remember why I brought this up. What were we talking about before? Plants coming to. I don't think it was related. I think I just wanted to. Oh yeah, because I was trying to square what's happening now with Koenig saying, look, or we just have this impression that this god who wants nothing but cleanliness is creating all these robots, and like right now we know that Morgan is basically a terrible god to have, but I feel like a lot of the people who acted to intervene to change him or kill him didn't really know just how bad it would be, right? So I don't really have a point. It's an interesting observation, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of the characters don't seem to think a lot about what they want, what they actually want. What's the end game here? It's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but what are you actually trying to get to? What's the next step after you do this? Yeah,
we talked a lot about how, or like not a lot, but we talked briefly about it last week, I think, how non-serious the tone of the book is. It's a very dark world, but only if you really think about it. All the characters that we are getting the perspectives of are silly and like, it's exploding pigs.
Yeah. And women.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it is interesting. I guess it's an interesting narrative choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
mean-
like dwelling on the darkness. Yeah.
How to say? Like I'm enjoying reading it. Reading the book. It's not what I expected, and it's not. How do I say? It's not probably for me right now. I feel like if I read this 10 years ago, I would have enjoyed it a lot more because I was in a different phase in my life. I was reading different books. I was interested in different things. And I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And there's a lot of books which I feel like now, I would not enjoy now, but I still cherish because at that time they're really good. And, I was a different phase in life. I like different things. So I feel like that's one of the things which makes it, it's not what I'm looking for. It's not, I'm going to enjoy it, but I don't think I'm ever going to go back to read it again. Unless I somehow change again my tastes. I just wish it was more serious. That's just what I wish. I don't know. Because I want things to have weight, right? I just want more weight to things. I want more weight. I like books with a lot of weight to the prose, to the meaning. I want, that's what I'm looking for. And again, I'm not saying it's not good or anything of it. I'm just saying it's not what I was hoping it would be.
So more, kind of a little, like take itself a little more seriously, I guess, is what.
Yeah, especially because I read a lot of recommendation of like, oh, I read the Second Apocalypse. What do I read now? And a lot of people are saying, read this. And like, now that I've read it, it's like, it's good. It's very good. Like I feel more. I don't see at all how it's related or any way similar to that. I can think of other books which it's sort of similar that I've read in the past, and it's much better than some of those ones that I've read in the past. But I don't see any correlation with anything like Prince of Nothing or Second Apocalypse at all, which makes it weird why people would recommend this.
I don't think there's
even like The Road, right? I've seen it a lot of time being compared to The Road. From McCarthy, but I don't see it. It's a different type. It's a different type of book.
I don't think there's any humor in. I mean, I think there's a little bit, like if you really, but it's very subtle in Second Apocalypse. I mean, there's not a whole lot of humor at all. Like there's some very dark humor, like bits and pieces here and there, like, and you feel bad for laughing at it, but. There's not a whole lot of joy in that series at all.
I think it's the humor which makes you feel bad about thinking or reading about it. It's not like this makes it's a bit more lighthearted, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Again, still pretty dark, but for normal context. But it's it doesn't make me feel bad.
Yeah.
So, but again, these are all just stylistic choices of different, and just slots in a different area of the genre, right? Than other things. And again, to me, it just feels very modern, grimdark. That's what it feels to me. But that's my perception. But again, everyone has different perceptions of how modern literature is as compared to 20 years ago or something.
I kind of expect the last third or so to be just like bonkers, and I expect the ending to be. I don't expect it to be like a dark ending, like a hopeless ending. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of hope, or it's going to be like a very black, dark humor, like we're not in any better place when we're done, kind of thing. So I do think it's going to get off the rails, but we'll see.
I feel so too, but I feel like it will be a dark ending, but it won't be treated, super seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be some sort of like, oh fuck it, and then I'll kill everyone, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I don't know much about the Second Apocalypse. Obviously, I haven't read it, but from what I've heard about it, it seems to have this what's the word? Utter lack of hope, it seems like. So for this series, I guess, I don't know if that's the point they're trying to make, but what I'm reading from it is nothing matters. Like, who cares? I guess that might be why it's slotted in with the second apocalypse, but in just a very different, non-serious way. It seems like.
Yeah, because even in this series too, there's like, oh, nothing matters. So, but
Yeah.
when nothing matters, you can say, oh, nothing matters, so I can do whatever I want. You know, I'm free to shape my own. How do I say? I don't know if it's
Delusion?
no, I'm not going to start quoting philosophers, but I'm sure there's philosophers say, oh, you know, God doesn't exist, so humanity is free to shape their own beliefs and determine what is correct or not. Or you can say, oh, God doesn't exist, we're all doomed, there's no salvation. You know, it's the same starting point, but different philosophies. That's what it feels to me a bit like, yeah. Yeah, this feels more like, oh yeah, you know, there's no meaning to anything, so fuck it, just do whatever you want, go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point, Varsha, about it being hopeless, and that's great. I think that maybe where people are getting the recommendation from is the like lack of hope.
Yeah. It does feel hopeless, doesn't it? Like it, not in the way that not necessarily that no characters have hope. I don't know if that's what the case is in the second apocalypse, but the world as a whole, it feels like, what's the point to why bother changing anything? So, yeah, and that the outcome of that reads as hopeless, I suppose.
But the people in this world, they don't seem to start off having much hope. It seems like everyone is pretty aware that everything's gone to shit, you know, and there's it's like, oh, whatever, I might die tomorrow, you know, everything's trash anyways. So it's, and I feel it's different when you have some hope and then the hope is destroyed. That's much worse than when you start off having no hope.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That makes for some great horse comedy.
Talking horse comedy, yeah.
Talking horse comedy. Yeah. I love a horse that thinks it's smarter than you and can count up to 4.
Oh, can he count up to 4 because he has 4 fingers or 4 legs, and that's how much he can count?
Oh my god, I didn't make that connection.
I just thought about it.
That's fantastic.
Makes sense.
But he could say 22, so I'm wondering if he's counting in base 4.
Maybe. I mean, technically, inside the horses, I think they have very similar hand structure as us, just they have different... What is it? Their hoof is just like one of our fingers, just bigger and extended, but they still have all the other small ones, or something like that.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I think it's something like that. If you see like X-ray of horse foot,
Oh, the bones? So not the outside part.
Sort of how like the dolphins is like, they still have like 5 fingers, I guess, or whatever, but they're just sort of within the fin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Something like that.
So if the horse had X-ray vision, he'd count up to 10.
Yeah. Let me see. Horse, X-ray, foot?
Hoofs. Yeah. Hoofs.
I don't know. I think it's something like that, because I think I read it's sort of like they're just like on tiptoes all the time, kind of. I don't remember exactly. Yeah.
That's why they're so strong.
Yeah, I think they're pretty strong, but very fragile too.
Does anyone else have this? Like, I always have trouble wrapping my head around the idea that a deer weighs 300 or what is it 600 pounds, or horses are so heavy. I'm like, how they don't look it.
They're very big. I don't know how many horses you've been around, but
no. But deer is the one that trips me up. I haven't been around deer either, but they just look so delicate. I'm like, you weigh 300 pounds.
I think elk can get pretty big. I know elk can get like in the 5, 6. I think they can get very...
I mean, deers are pretty small compared to horses. kind of small. But horses are pretty big. Like they're pretty. If you go, they're pretty scary actually. But they're also very
I don't want to
fragile,
hear their
right?
teeth.
As if they put a foot in the wrong place and they're going down, like they're gone.
Yep. They can't grab anywhere to stop themselves from falling.
Yeah, and like their limbs are very fragile, sort of, for how strong they are, right?
Yeah. I thought so. They look very small, even cows for that matter.
Really?
Yeah, animal anatomy confuses me.
Cows are so big; they're really
Yeah,
big.
but their legs are so thin. How do they carry all that weight?
I mean, they're not that thin if you actually go and measure it. I guess thin compared
really?
to how big they are, but they're not thin.
Yeah. Maybe it's all relative then. Yeah, I did wonder about that. I did wonder if I went head to head with a cow and like measured my leg against it.
They go with pretty big legs. Pretty big legs. And cows and horses would fuck you up if they wanted to. They're a bit cowards, but yeah, pretty big.
If I went head to head with a cow.
Yeah. Don't charge a cow. I think that's a bad idea.
Not a good fight to pick, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think I can win against a cow, Steve?
I know I couldn't. Yeah, those things are huge.
What are you gonna? Are you gonna punch it to death? How? We didn't even.
I don't know.
feel
I
it.
thought I could talk to it and bore it to death.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they live a very exciting life, so
No,
I don't
it took a
know
lot.
if you would bore
No.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a losing battle. Okay, I'll stay far away from the cow.
Maybe read War and Peace to it. Maybe that'll do it.
Yeah. That might do
See
it.
if Parmeet is listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I warned her off the series big time. she asks for recommendations for if Game of Thrones is my threshold, will I like Berserk? She asked me about Berserk. I was like, no.
No.
I don't know if Berserk is darker than Game of Thrones.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well.
I haven't read far enough in, but I think the graphicness of the images would
Yeah.
put.
Wait, are
Would
you
make it
reading?
just,
Are you reading Game of Thrones too at the same right now? Or something?
No, I read the first 2 books earlier in the year, and then I've been meaning to pick up the third, but I haven't. I probably will when I finish my Larsen.
Yeah. I guess it's not dark, but it's dark in the sense of like, oh, this feels like this could happen, sort of, you know, in the real world. That's sort of more dark, I guess.
That's true.
It's more realistic, more grounded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's true.
The art for Berserk is more fantastical. It doesn't feel as grounded and real possible, I guess. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
pretty-
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you interpret it.
no,
Sorry, go ahead.
Berserk gets pretty dark though.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
But,
Yeah. Just the one scene at the end of the Golden Age arc would do it.
Yeah. But I guess dark, it's like what feels dark and what feels too much for different people can be quite different.
Oh yeah, it's
You know,
Yep.
there's some things which some
Absolutely.
people think are very dark, which I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me, and some other things which people is like they don't even notice, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
quite something for me. So yeah,
Yeah, a lot of it, I guess, is implications, right? Like this world, for instance, that we've been reading about, it is very dark, and a lot of it is explicitly explained to us. But there's also a lot just in terms of the existential aspects of it that can feel very dark as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
A lot's down to interpretation.
definitely. I think a lot of the slaver stuff from the first book is there's some stuff that's left to interpretation that made it worse.
Oh,
That wasn't
Yeah.
explicitly said.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time it's just, like you said, not just what's happening, but how it's being described and how it's hard to say a lot of the time. It's like, oh, I feel this is dark because the author used these words and this sort of sense. Yeah, it's hard to say, but you feel it, right? When you read a book, you feel the tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did look, and it looks like chapter 47 is 75% in. So did you guys want to do another 25%?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So 28 through 46?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, Varsha will have to read a couple more chapters, but
Yeah.
Yes.
It's always one
Fine.
of us.
I will try to
It's
keep
Varsha's turn.
this. This week I have just one discussion, so I think I can catch up.
nice.
Awesome.
47, right?
Lots of
Yeah.
stuff coming. Anything else you guys think of from this one? All right.
I
No.
think that's. Yeah.
So until next week, we'll see who doesn't get all the chapters in next week. It'll be someone's turn.
It's your turn now.
It's my turn. Yeah. But Dan, where can people find you if they want to other than knocking on every door in your city?
You can find me on the Patreon forums. I mean, I'm technically on Facebook, or I got the Gmail. What do I have? I have lots of
I have
accounts
the
of different
email
forums.
and the internet. Yeah.
Yes, I have the contacts. You know,
You said.
if you,
Yeah.
what did I say?
You said I'm on the Facebook. I'm on the email.
Yeah, I am on the Facebook. I'm not on the Twitter, or the X as
Because
the
you're
young
on
kids
the
call
X.
it.
The kids call
Yeah,
it.
because I'm not on the TikToks or the things. You know, I have one video on my YouTube channel.
Oh, you
if
do?
you ever find it, yeah.
Interesting.
But it's
I'm
not
gonna go
relevant.
look for that.
No, it's private too. So
Oh.
unless you have the link. Anyways, if you have any way of contact me and you're looking for some information on how to make some very average pizza at home, then sure, just email me.
or a Berserk inspired magic deck.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
A man of many average talents.
Yes, that's a great tagline.
Yeah.
And Varsha, where can people find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel. I don't know why my voice speaks like that, but reading by the rainy mountain. And the about page has other ways to reach me. I am on the X, but I hardly check it. So if you do want to talk to me, find the Patreon forum, I guess.
Yeah, enjoy,
Nice.
enjoy X until he starts to charge for it. So there's always that.
And then I'm off.
Yeah. Maybe it's more healthy for your mental well-being to not be
Yeah.
that much on it.
He should charge by the tweet,
Oh.
and then maybe that'll reduce the size of the mob.
Oh yeah, so you only post tweets when you're very sure that you're saying something that makes sense.
Very profound.
Yeah, are you angry enough about this to pay for it?
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah,
social
just
experiment.
make it like telegrams. You're paying by the word or letter, so you're very specific in what you're trying to say.
That would, yeah.
Oh, this is just his way to increase the
bots.
the command of language.
Charged by the character. Yeah, that'll do it.
For sure.
So cool. So until next week, we'll see everyone then. Well, until then, have a good great week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.